No. It was me. I think I was trying to make sure that it was recording, and you know how I told you I was gonna try and record this, and this is my first time trying that. So I was just making sure that it was recording, but then I think I accidentally just logged out.
Oh, that's okay. No problem. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? I'm so excited for today.
No, me too. I've been thinking about it. I've been watching your little chats with the moms every week, and I loved last week's ramen, so I was really excited.
Yeah, that's awesome. Raman told me all about you, and yeah, and I mean, we really enjoyed how you were so interactive last week as well in our chat. So
Well, the
that's really
topic
nice.
was so.
Yeah. Sorry, you're cutting out a little bit.
Okay, I think my internet's okay. How's this? Is it better?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, so how was your day?
It was really nice. I always have a pretty good day when the sun is out because it's easier to figure out what the day should look like as opposed to just raining, right? Especially when you have kids.
Yeah. No, it's that's true. We didn't. I mean, today it was kind of cloudy, wasn't it? Wasn't really. Was it sunny? I don't know. I didn't come out.
Oh, you didn't come out? No, the first thing I do is I always look at the weather and then the night before to plan what I can do with the kids and stuff. So, no, it was such a beautiful day. There was like an overcast, but as long as it's not wet, then I think it's okay.
Yeah, in the evening, well, because I still work during the day, right? So kind of cooped up inside the house during the day. I should try. We did try to, in the beginning, like when this whole pandemic thing started, we did try to get out every once in a while to go for walks and then, go biking with the kids or whatever. But my husband takes them out and he comes home. So if me and my kids go out, then there's nothing. Then they're already bored. They're like, "Oh, we already went biking. What do we go? What do we do now?" Right?
Oh, so you're working from home right now?
Yeah.
Oh, that's hard with kids at home, I would imagine.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's kind of we've gotten used to it now, but it's still tough because you feel like you're pulled in all different directions.
Yeah.
And so what do we do today? Honestly, everything's just so mishmashed, like you can't figure out from one thing to the other, right?
Yes.
Like we had our breakfast. Okay, this is our kind of normal routine. Okay, we'll wake up and I'll have my coffee, and then maybe if I'm disciplined enough, I'll do some yoga or some workout. And then the kids will wake up and we'll have our breakfast, and then usually from 8:30 to 11:30, so they have 3 hours of solid straight screen time because that's when my meetings are in the mornings.
Yeah.
Right?
Wow.
And so then they know, okay, 8:30 the TV's gonna turn on because we have it on timer. We have it set on timer, so so we can control when they turn it on and off. And and then they'll watch TV. I'll do some, meetings and get some work done and that. And then usually by late afternoon, my husband will come and then he'll take over.
Okay.
And I'll work. But I can't focus still. Mm-hmm. I can't focus as much at work, even though we have that. We have the set timings and everything. Because even when they're watching TV, they'll come down and they'll bang on the door, be like, "Mommy, can we eat something? Mommy, can we do this and that?" Right?
Yes. No, I can imagine. But I think given the situation, your work peers are probably understanding of that. I would imagine. Yeah.
Yeah, very understanding. In a normal situation, this would not work at all.
No, I don't think I can get even a minute done. I can't even go to the washroom without somebody saying all of a sudden. It's like when you're doing something for yourself, all of a sudden they need something then. That's
sorry, you're cutting off. I can't hear you.
Oh, I was just saying the moment that you sit down is kind of when they need you for some reason. Like just if they're fine. Yeah. Fine. As soon as you do something for yourself, you go pee or whatever. All of a sudden, they do something, right?
Yeah, that's so true. I was in a meeting one time, and this my coworker was explaining something, and we were just conferencing, and all of a sudden, there's like my door started banging so loudly, and then they're like, "We'll just let Simi deal with her construction zone or whatever."
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if I could work from home. That's so challenging. Like, I bet you're probably imagining other parents that always work from home based on what their job is. So,
yeah,
that could be, yeah.
But the thing is, hey everyone who joined in, we're just talking about working from home, just life. Well, I love. Before when people worked from home, it was in a normal environment where, okay, they could still send the kids to activities or school, and then go do certain things, or run their errands, or like plan their day around certain activities around their children, right? And also be productive at the same time. But now it's so different because you can't really take your kids very many places. I mean, I'm lucky now my kids can both go biking, and they're both off training wheels and everything, so it's really fun. Like, we actually go biking with them.
Yeah.
Right? So it's really nice. But
don't you find that, like, when we were younger, it was a little more of a trusting environment? Like, I remember I used to walk to the park by myself, and there wasn't a lot of fear around stuff, but now I won't even have my kids 1 second out of my sight. So I just find that it's a bit different these days too, because for some reason we're not inclined to give kids that independence that I know I had when I was younger, type of thing. Like, I would walk to the park by myself with my brother. I would never let them park by themselves, ever.
Yeah. No, that's true. Times are changing now because I grew up in India, and I was born there as well. And I remember just walking to school, biking to school by myself, taking my brother, walking with my friends.
Yeah.
And there was really not much scare back then. I don't know how it was here at the time, but yeah, I wouldn't let my kids out now. There is a book that I read about that, and I can't remember the name of it, but it was just about that, about like letting your kids. It's called Free Range Kids or something.
Okay.
And it's about that. Like, in the book, like, it gives you tips on how to basically let your kids, like, slowly, baby steps, let them out and give them that freedom, and let them explore and that. And it's actually a pretty nice book, like, very witty. The writer is really witty and, like, quite funny in the way that she writes things, and yeah.
Oh, nice.
I'll let you know. I don't remember the name of the writer, but I'll send it to you.
Oh, awesome.
Give you the information, yeah. Yeah. So you're a stay-at-home mom?
I am a stay-at-home mom. I do keep up my nursing hours to keep my license up, but that's like minimal hours, to be honest. And then I'm in the middle of doing my master's, which is a lot of work because just all the paper writing, and I've just been out of school for so long that just you lose that sense of intuition and how to write a good quality paper. So I find that takes up a lot of my time. So that's essentially what I'm doing. And I was planning on doing that. When I had my first, I was planning on doing, the mat leave of 1 year or whatever it was at the time. But I just found that I didn't want... Oh, just 1 second. Sorry, 1 second. I'm so sorry. 1 second.
That's okay. Hey, everyone who joined in. Hi, Embath. Sandeep Olak. Hi. Gina. Pugster. Hi, Pugster. I'm just going to wave at everyone that I can. How are you guys all doing? How's your day been?
I am so sorry. You know what?
Hi, Timmy.
This is the funniest thing, Simi. Okay, my kids never get up once they're asleep. Like, never get up. I'm known for when they're down, they're down. This is the one time I've done something like this, and I get called. That's insane. Like, it has never happened. Like, my aunt is watching this right now. She's on here, and she often watches my kids sleep at night while I go to the gym, or my husband, I go on a date night. He never gets up. Nobody gets up. But listen to me, just today, right now, for the first time ever, as I'm doing this, and I thought to myself, you know what? This is going to happen to me, that when I'm talking to Simi, it's going to be the first time someone calls me. So I'm really sorry about that.
No, that's totally fine. I got a chance to. I normally, when we're doing these lives, I'm actually not so good at comments at the same time, because I find that I lose my focus and then I lose my chain of thought while I'm talking to people.
Yeah, oh my God, I didn't see it, but this is a really good question here. It says here, any suggestions for bedwetting for kids?
Yeah. I mean, so do you have any suggestions?
Well, okay, so this is what I've done with my first, who's old enough to not wet the bed. He's 5, and it's been such a challenge because he's a very heavy sleeper like his dad. But what I found is he all of a sudden started telling me I don't like having pull-ups at night. And I said, well, here's what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to have a treat, a gift for you on the side of the toilet, like where the counter is. If you, as many times as you get up, you can take one treat. So it'd be like a car, a fun coloring thing. So he's potty trained now at nighttime fully. He doesn't work pull-ups, which is pretty good for a boy at 5 to be fully potty trained. So I would recommend to Timmy that maybe some sort of incentive or reward system. I found with my son. What about you, Sim? Are your kids old enough to train, or?
Honestly, my second one was just a haze. Like, I don't even remember. He's 4 and he's completely potty trained, except sometimes he'll still have accidents, but that only because he doesn't want to. Like, he's just not at night, only during the day, which is weird, right?
The daytime, that's really different.
Yeah, no, it's because he just doesn't, like, he'll just hold it in because he knows he has to go, but he's just too busy doing something else. He's just too lazy to go to the bathroom. It's like, when you're holding your pee-pee, you need to go.
Wow. No, that's so funny. Like, that was my eldest's reason. And actually, I said, do you know when you're peeing in your pull-up? He's like, don't get mad at me, Mommy, but I don't want to get up. It's easier if I just do it in my pull-ups. And so, like, I think a lot of it is just maybe not wanting to interrupt your own, whatever you're doing, sleeping or at nighttime or daytime playing, having fun with his toys. So, I think a lot of it is probably that. Yeah.
Yeah. And actually, with my kids, I thought that they were it's going to be a really long ways, like, until they're fully potty. Thankfully, like, they never gave me too much trouble. Like, it wasn't really that bad for me. So, I don't really have any tips, you guys. It's like,
Oh, Raman,
just kind of let it be. Sorry, what was that?
There's I said Raman just joined. I was just saying hi to Raman.
Oh, hi, Raman. And hi, Hussein Beer. How about a 7 and a 5? So a 7 and a 5-year-old.
To be honest, they should probably go to the pediatrician to make sure there's no neurological or any sort of underlying medical. Like, eliminate that first, in my opinion, and then go on to see if it's just behavioral, right? So I would recommend to Timmy to just go and take a visit to the pediatrician just to rule out anything that may be medical, right?
Yeah.
Timmy, it could be something that they have no control over.
Right. And also, like, they say like what we did when we were strictly potty training was after a certain time, we restricted the liquids. Like, even to now, like, my kids know they don't, like, when they're having dinner, they'll get water, but after that, they can't. Like, if they miss having water during dinner, we're really strict with that because we're like, you're just going to end up peeing at night, right? But now they're just so used to that.
Yeah. That's good. Restricting fluids is a great idea. I do that with my eldest as well. I might give him one little drop just so he thinks he's gotten something, but that's pretty much it. I mean,
Yeah. Sometimes when I feel too bad for them, it's like, okay, you can have just teeny tiny bit.
I'd like feel like, oh my god, am I dehydrating him? Oh my, but we're not. We're not dehydrating them, Simi. They're just fine.
Yeah. But then I also say, you know what? Here's a tall glass of water. When you wake up first thing in the morning, you can have as much water as you want to.
Yes, no, that's a good way as well. Like kind of just a reward for later on.
Yeah. So hope those helped. And then Timmy's asking, do you kids still ride in 5-point harness seat or booster seat in car? Well, my kids, my older
I'll be right back, Timmy.
Little one is in convertible. And my kids are 4 and 6. Any other questions, guys? Hi, Sharon. Hi, Emily. Let's see. Who else is here? Oh, hi, Harkamal. Hi, Kimmy.
Okay. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry about that.
That's okay. You know what? Today, while you were saying that, today was the day they were going to come and disturb you, I was thinking, like, my kids are still not in bed. They've been going to bed later and later during these times.
Yeah.
And so my husband was putting them to bed. So I quickly came downstairs. I was like not even like half ready and quickly came down and within 5 minutes like put on some clothes and put on a little bit of makeup and just came down. I'm like, I gotta go.
It's like they sense you're about to do something for yourself, just a little bit, and they're like, wait a minute, you know, I just, it's interesting how kids kind of have maybe a sense of what's going on.
Right, yeah. And I went upstairs and my daughter's like, what are you all ready for? I'm like, oh, I have a meeting at 8:30 at night.
You know, I said the same thing and he's like, I'm going to stay up and just wait for your voice so I can hear it. Then I'm like, you know what, actually she canceled. She's got a tummy ache, so that's not happening anymore. Like, they're just anything to stay up, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? This is actually my cousin, my son's cousin that just joined, Granur. She is such a cutie. So,
hi, Granur.
Hi, Granur. She is so adorable, but she's, that's my kid's cousin, so, yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. Yeah, so tell me about your YouTube channel.
Well, you know, I'm not one to, like, be wanting to do videos and stuff like that, but what happened was, when I was on maternity leave with my second, I just felt I don't know, as a mother, if you find your brain is stale sometimes, if you're too much in the mom zone, I find that you kind of become a one track in the bubble type of thinker. Yeah. And anyway, I wanted to challenge myself a little bit, and I love being a nurse, and I was kind of craving a bit of that. And as a second note, I find that people don't often prepare you for what motherhood really is. I mean, how can you, right? There's no book that says this is how it is. So, like, I find that as a first-time mom and postpartum, those two things are not discussed openly, as well as miscarriages, stillborns. Like, I think these are really serious topics. You know, mental health as a mother is so important. So I have access to this really awesome database. It's called uptodate.com, and, you know, all the, you know, health professionals use it. So I decided it would kind of feed my brain and to get me kind of doing something else other than, you know, breastfeeding, which is great, breastfeeding and all the mom stuff. So I decided to hopefully kind of because I find motherhood is romanticized. You know, postpartum and pregnancy, conception is romanticized. You just carry to term. There's no problems. Motherhood comes naturally. And society puts such a stress on only the positives of it. Right. And you really can't go outside of saying anything else about it. And I didn't want any mom to feel kind of isolated that she's feeling something different that's not normal type of thing. So I kind of started a channel on conception, pregnancy, postpartum, recovery, miscarriages, which I'm really big on, like kind of talking about, and loss.
Right.
So I think I started to hope to help other moms, as well as just to kind of make something fun for myself to do in the meantime. Being leave, just something different, a little change of pace. Yeah.
Yeah, kind of like your own little project, right?
Yeah, exactly. Just pass the time pleasantly with your newborn, as well as doing something for yourself.
Right. Mm-hmm. So when did you start it?
I think it might have been a couple of years ago, and for the first year, I posted quite a bit and almost every week. But the last year, there's been a lot of like family stuff of health problems going on with people, so I kind of just taken a back seat for the last month, because a lot of kind of grieving and stuff going on in the last 12 months. I just decided to just take a kind of a break and just kind of cope with what's going on around us, and I'm looking to get back into it. Yeah, I'll get back into it. Hopefully in the summertime.
Right. Yeah. Well, I looked at some of your YouTube videos, and they sounded so interesting. And I'm like, 1 hour will not be enough to discuss some of these things. It was, all the stuff that I would be interested in as a mom, and I'm sure that that others would be interested in them as well.
Well, I know when I first became a mom, it was it was challenging for me. I mean, I didn't smooth sail right into it. The recovery postpartum was difficult for me. And my son had colic, which is a twofer. Like, you're just physically in a lot of pain, and then someone's crying all the time. And I thought, in my mind, I remember thinking, no one told me that you would, have a huge tear and someone's crying at the same time. I mean, did you find that for your first, that it was not what you thought it would be like, or it was more challenging, it was easier, or?
Oh my gosh, it was completely different than what I thought it would be. And I'm sure everybody thinks that.
Yeah.
And I would always look at other moms and think, how can they do it so easily and so graciously and so gracefully and so beautifully, right? And I'm just here struggling, and I can't get my shit together. So
and like, you have your hair combed, this and that, and like, I barely made it out in my PJs, or barely showered. But you know what, Simi? That's why I really like things like conversations like this. It's real, it's raw, it's exactly what motherhood is like. And a lot of times, I later found out that those moms had nannies, or they had their mother-in-law living with them, or they had some sort of, so they got to take a shower, they got to put a little eyeshadow or whatever. So looks can be really deceiving, and I know that there's always a backstory, right, Simi?
There is, And so if they, if they have a nanny, if they have or they're living with their in-laws, they're probably, they have to, there's always some give and take, right? So if they have that time to take care of themselves, then they have to give something else up, right? So like you said, there's always a story behind the pretty picture.
You're completely right. So like, maybe someone gets the help of the nanny, but the nanny criticizes here. I'm just saying, like, it's never just grassy green, and that's it. Yeah. I completely agree.
Yeah.
Did you have help with your first? Was it just you and your husband, or?
Yeah, it was just me and my husband, and eventually I did get diagnosed with depression.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I was in a pretty dark place, but I didn't get diagnosed after my first. It was after my second son, when my son was born, and that too. It was quite late that it was diagnosed, and none of my family members, nobody even could even think of, like, mental health, depression, any illness, anxiety is so, I would say, undervalued, and not understood at all, like, at times, right?
Because it's a disease you can't see. They don't see a cancer, tumor. They don't see someone who slit their wrist. Like, they don't see you look normal. And I can't believe you went through that. That's really challenging.
Yeah, but I'm not saying for others. I'm saying even for myself. Like, I could never have. I didn't even, like, that's why it took so long for me to even realize it. I mean, it got diagnosed accidentally when I was in my doctor's office, and I broke up. I was there for something else, and then, I broke down.
Oh.
And yeah, and then my doctor's like, "Are you okay? Like, you seem like this is what he said. Are you okay? You seem sad." And then just like I was just tears rolling down my cheeks, and um, yeah, and then eventually like I saw a therapist and got help, and I don't know, like really, like they couldn't really tell me that it was postpartum because it had been so long. Like my son was 18 months old, and but like I'm sure a lot of things had to contributed to it, right?
Yeah.
I was in two accidents as well before I had my kids.
Oh, wow.
One was like after having my first, and one was before I had my first.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Wow.
And I'm on medication as well.
Oh, are you still on the medication?
No, I'm not.
No.
I'm not anymore, but I was on medication. Even then, I was kind of, a lot of it was in my mind, but then I kind of felt like I was getting this vibe from people around me that that I'm on medication, and that I should try and get off them. They're not good for me. And yeah. So Raman's saying you both look nice today. Thank you, Raman. It's tough, Simi. It is underdiagnosed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it totally is, because family doesn't also know what's going on sometimes. That's true. Yeah.
And also, don't you find culturally that in our culture, that medication for depression is not accepted? Like, it's not, like, you know what I mean? Like, going to a counselor, seeking antidepressants is not acceptable, I find, in our culture.
It's totally not. I remember, I mean, and I don't want to put my, how do I say it? So I remember my dad saying to me, like, "Tenu ki loda ahar learn ki dawai," right?
Yeah.
Like, "Tu khush reha kar," right? And
that's
so
so typical. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's like, it's like a switch, right? Like that will just turn on or off. And I remember just thinking, like, I didn't know, I didn't have that much, like, at the time when I was taking the medication, everything was so new to me. So I didn't have, like, the right, I would say, support, and I didn't look out for the right resources and things like that. That's why, like, even with this, this podcast, this platform, I'm totally, like, I want to advocate for mental health, and not just like postpartum, but just in general as well, in women in our culture, because that's it's so underdiagnosed, underestimated, under everything.
Yeah.
Right?
I completely agree. And if you told someone in our parents' generation that I'm seeking counseling for X, Y, and Z, they would look at you like you're nuts. Because first off, you're supposed to keep your problems to yourself and your family. You don't expose it to the outside, right? I mean,
right.
It's kind of like just what your dad said. Like, you're fine. What's wrong with you're fine? Just walk it off, right? Essentially, is what kind of your dad's implying. So you're so proud of yourself for going to the appointment, acknowledging it, taking the medication, and getting better. So I mean, you're such a strong woman, because let alone the depression.
Sorry.
But you know what? M. Bath is saying something really, really in tune with us. But we are taught to suppress our feelings and pretend like everything is fine. I find in our culture, we are totally taught that.
Right. Yeah. Which is so not reality, especially, like, I don't think it was the reality even back in the day, but now it's even like parenting and everything, like all the challenges that we have in this day and age are different, right? And I mean, we're privileged to have certain things, and certain luxuries and the rights that we have as people, as humans, and as women, but still there are different challenges that we have nowadays. And Raman's saying, or just that motherhood is tough and expected. Yeah, so what she's trying to say is that we're expected to suppress our feelings, and then and that people think that motherhood is just like how it is, right? It's tough and it's expected, so kind of deal with it.
But it also doesn't help that I find the female woman culture is not a very collaborative, supportive gender. I mean, I wish there was more supporting going on with females. I find that, throw a compliment out there, say good job, say you're a great mom to someone. I just find that, for me, that a lot of women don't support women the way that we could to rise higher and help them get over a difficult part in life or something they maybe experience. I find that with females, it's a lot of competition instead.
So are you talking about like our culture, or
no,
just in general?
Every in general with that one.
I don't know. I don't know if like now it's social media has something to do with it.
Yeah.
Where it's portrayed that way, and that we're just so hyper connected that we feel more isolated. I'm not sure. I'm just these are just my thoughts.
Yeah.
And it could like the women that I've been with, like my friends, like my close group of friends, they're always praising, like we're always praising each other, and we're always like supportive of each other, and we always reach out, and I've kept my sort of circle really close, right? Before, or even now, but what was I gonna say? But now, like with social media, there's more and more, like it's your reach is so magnified, right? That you don't really have that, like you can only take so much time to interact with others and support each other. What do you think?
No, I agree. I think the social media and how connected we are through platforms like Instagram and Facebook, you're right, it does take away from what things might have been like prior to this huge reign of social media everywhere. And you're right, it probably depersonalizes a lot of things as well, right? Which is whether that's good or bad for some people. But no, I agree with you. I think friends are supportive, but I guess I just feel like beyond that, you don't feel it.
Right.
Like whereas Simi, I don't know you very well, but I would praise you and love everything about your podcast and just really know this mom of two is busy, hectic working. I'm going to really support her. Even though you're not in my immediate, we don't
right.
Right? But I just feel so passionate about being there for somebody who's trying something. I was like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. There might be that missing, but I think that slowly we can change that.
Yeah, totally agree.
By being role models and portraying what, be the change you want to see.
Yeah,
right. So yeah, I think we can slowly change that. That's all I have to say. But I do get what you're trying to say, is that it's more competition and yeah.
And Raman sums it up as "Go women power," which is right.
Yeah. So your kids are, how old are they?
They are 3 and 6 this year. They're not 3 and 6 quite yet, but they're 3 and 6.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, mine are 4 and 6. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You did the 2-year gap like Raman did. That's intense.
2 years. Yeah.
Intense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really hard at first.
I don't know if I could do the 2-year gap because 2-year-olds, they just, at least my 2-year-old just wouldn't have gotten a lot of understanding of, I'm breastfeeding, I'm doing this. Good for you. Props to you, Simi.
I know. Some days I question. I'm like, why did I do this to myself? I wish I had like I would at some point. I was like, I should have had a 5-year gap.
Raman was saying that if she had a third, she's gonna not have a 2-year gap. I think she said that, something like that. That she's gonna kind of cut herself some slack, and maybe a 3 or something gap.
Yeah. So Raman's saying like women empowering other women. Why be envious or competitive? It's crazy. I would do 3 if I was to do it again. Yeah. 3 years. Yeah.
So
yeah. Would you have another child?
I would totally have another child. It's just not the right time. It's not the right time right now. And if I, maybe in a couple of years when things kind of around me kind of in a better place type of thing with family members and this and that. So I think I would, if, like I told Raman, if my ovaries have not shriveled up into like prunes, I would totally in a couple of years would love to have a third. It would be the biggest gift ever. How about you? Are you done it too?
Done. I've had very traumatic births, and given my postpartum experience, depression, anxiety, I don't think that I can have another one. I mean, no. And plus my husband is with me as well, so he's like, honestly, he would be so stressed if we had a third one. Yeah.
Well, you have to think of yourself too. You have to think of yourself and what it sounds like. I only know like a part of it, what you went through. I don't know if I'd be able to do a third one. That's a pretty dark place you can get to with postpartum depression and this and that. So, I mean, you can't take care of kids if you're not feeling well yourself, right? So, I mean, like, it's hard. I can't even imagine.
Yeah. Right now I'm in a really good place, and I feel like I don't want to go back to that place,
Yeah, no.
I feel like it would take me there again.
No, it sounds really scary. I always kind of, like when I was ward nurse and I would see a history of postpartum depression stuff, the way they described it was just horrific. Like it just sounded like you're in this dark, you can't get out of this dark tunnel, this space, and you're just stuck.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Like I remember at one point it was in the middle of the day in the summer, bright sunny day, and my kids were playing outside, laughing, having fun. My husband was doing like some yard work, and I'm in the kitchen, and I'm just so sad, like so sad, and I have no reason to be sad. I'm like, you think, okay, nice sunny days, people should be happy, and I'm like, why am I so sad? Like, and I'm crying, and I just can't figure it out. I can't get out of that, and could never get, like, I'm like, okay, maybe tomorrow it'll be a better day. But no, like, those hours of just sleeping, like, or not wanting to get out of bed. It's, it was, very dark place.
No, I can't even imagine, because just being a mom is a lot of work emotionally and physically. So for you to have, a postpartum issue, like I can't even imagine. You're so strong for getting through that. It's incredible.
Thanks. I'm actually trying to schedule in a medical student who's really passionate about maternal mental health.
Okay.
And she is from the South Asian diaspora.
Yeah.
But she so I asked her, okay, like she's not a mom, and I'm like, what makes you so interested in this topic? And she told me that she did some she read some studies and some stats and whatnot for postpartum depression.
Yeah.
And she's like, the amount of information that's there for South Asian women is next to negligible. Like, it's just next to nothing, right? And she's like, that just, like, it blows my mind. And I'm like, she's like, it has to do with it has to have a cultural tie to it, right? It's like women are not speaking, they're not coming out, right? They're not participating in these studies to be able to give like good information about, you know, the cultural, like in our culture, what kind of statistics there are. So that's why she started this new project called the Her Health Story.
Okay.
And so she reaches out to women and asks them to like share their postpartum stories and things like that. So that was really, really awesome, I thought. And so anyways, like in talking to her, she mentioned that people that have, or women that have had a sort of not so normal childhood, are more susceptible to postpartum depression as well. Wow. So there's like some connections there as well.
So like, I guess, yeah, that makes sense. If you sustain some sort of trauma in your childhood, that sounds completely plausible. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. So Mubarak's saying babies, toddlers, but you can't just have one or the other.
Is that babies greater than toddlers? I don't know.
Must have been something that we were saying at the time. I can't put it together. Sorry, moves. Yeah, so I'm like planning to have her on my podcast. It'd be interesting to see what she has to say.
Oh, completely. Oh, wow. Is that coming up this month that she's in, or?
Well, I'm planning to release that on Mother's Day.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, babies are better than toddlers. Well, you know what? Every stage has its moments, I think, because babies, yes, they smell good and everything, but those 45-minute night shifts all night long, like I don't know.
Yeah. But you can't just choose one. Sharon's explaining everything.
There we go. I guess they might. I wonder if they're related because
they're friends. They're my friends. This is Sharon. That's Mubu.
Oh, okay. So no, that's probably why.
Yeah. So what else? We were talking about something. Messaged you. So I want to know, like, so what are you doing like now to keep up with keep yourself sane?
You know, I was actually having a conversation with a friend last week, and she was telling me how a big part of the world is depressed and isolated and all, feeling, not at their best. But I'm such an introvert that I thrive in this type of situation, aside from people getting sick, and I don't want that to happen. But being socially distancing and isolating is just my favorite thing to do. And it's so funny. No, I love it.
No, I'm laughing because, I mean, like we're twins at that.
Oh, like, really?
Yeah.
I was just telling my husband, I've never felt so myself. I feel so great because I don't have to make